Social psychology is the scientific study which discovers individual behaviors and thoughts under the social context. Therefore, social psychologists focus on how individuals are influenced and interact with each other. In order to understand the aspects stated above, several questions are usually asked.
How do you view the relationship between yourself and other people, and how does that certain view affect your thought and reaction?
It's actually quite hard to tell, but in my opinion, although we consider ourselves as individuals, but we are also undoubtedly a part of a bigger community. We can be a member of a family, a class, or a school, or even a society.
We spend most of our time interacting with different groups of people, from someone very close to strangers that you never meet before. I suppose it will be very hard to totally cut the connection between ourselves and the others, and it's nearly impossible not to be influenced by each other in terms of thinking and behavior.
How do you think you are influenced by other people's opinions?
Sometimes I'm not sure what to do in some circumstances. I will probably follow what others do.
Did you ever think about why?
It's just safer to follow others. I mean, if something goes wrong, at least there'll be someone else to share the responsibility with.
Maybe because it will be considered weird if I act differently.
What if someone's in need of help, but no one beside reached out their hand? Will you be the different guy and help out?
It really depends.
It's hard to say.
I would want to, but no one's helping.
The bystander apathy effect is a term describing the pro-social behavior which occurs when more than one bystander being present in an incident, but neither of them offering any assistance to the need. The studies on the bystander apathy effect hadn't thrived before 1964, the year when the tragedy, the murder of Kitty Genovese, occurred and later on spread virally on front pages around the globe. On March 13, 1964, Kitty Genovese was murdered on her way home in New York City. According to journals, Kitty was stabbed twice on the back in the first attack, and she screamed for help due to tremendous pain. A neighbor noticed and responded by shouting to the assailant, Winston Moseley, "Leave the girl alone," and the murderer fled. As said by some witnesses, Winston fled by car, but returned after 10 minutes and stabbed Kitty several times more. Winston even stole her purse and sexually assaulted her. However, the acclaimed 38 witnesses did not respond by calling the police or contacting ambulances after Winston fled and Kitty perished. The incident aroused interests of two social psychologists, John Darley and Bib Latane. They therefore conducted several experiments in the late 1960s, trying to discover and explain the pattern of thinking and behavior under such circumstances. One of the experiments was the bystander apathy experiment practiced in 1968. The experiment aimed to analyze the difference in reaction when the amount of bystander changes.
Hi, later on we'll bring you into separate rooms and you'll join a group discussion and talk about your university life.
Are you Jenny?
Oh yeah.
I'm here to bring you to your room. Please follow me.
Alright.
The seat, please.
The first group of participants were told that they would be joining a 6-people conversation, while the second group was told to be participating in a 4-people chat, and the third group were made to believe that they were in a one-on-one conversation. However, the truth was that all participants were talking to pre-recorded sounds.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Diggle. How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah. I'm Jenny.
Nice to meet you, Jenny.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How's your college life?
Oh, it's fine. It's stressful, but like you get things done. Yeah.
At the start of the conversation, one of the recorded sounds would reveal that he or she has got epilepsy and might experience a seizure attack at any time.
Oh, by the way, I tend to have epileptic seizures sometimes.
Oh, I'll take notice of that. And I'm joining soccer, and it's pretty good, like to exercise and everything. Yeah.
That's cool.
At the middle of the conversation, the experimenters will play a recorded sound pretending that the participant with epilepsy is having a seizure attack. The experimenters will then observe the reaction of people from the three groups.
So yeah, hello? Excuse me? Hello? Are you okay? Are you alright? Oh my god. Hi! Are you there? What the Are you okay?
In the final results, 31% of those who believed that there were 4 other participants besides themselves and the one who needed help offered help, while 64% of those believed there were 2 others in present reacted, and 85% of those believed they were in a one-on-one conversation asked to help.
Excuse me?
The results indicated that as the amount of bystanders increases, the chance of people offering a hand decreases. In other words, the stronger the bystander apathy effect gets. To conclude the experiment, John Darley and Bib Latane came up with a model which implies the cognitive processes people usually go through when they're deciding whether to help. This model can also be applied on daily basis when bystander apathy effect influences our behavior. First of the stages on the cognitive model, attending to the incident. The bystanders or potential helpers should actually notice the incident. Being in a busy environment or not paying attention on the surroundings may distract people from realizing. Second stage, defining the incident. After having awareness for the incident, the bystanders may interpret the situation and define it as an emergency or non-emergency. Third stage, accepting personal responsibility. Understanding that someone might need help, the bystanders may then evaluate their own ability of helping. Questions as such may be asked: whether there were other people who could help, will their assistance be competent enough so as not to worsen the situation? The fourth stage of the model, deciding what to do. Taking all the above into consideration, people will make their final decision on whether they're helping or not.
Yeah, do you need help? Here you go. See ya. Have a nice day.
The bystander apathy effect can influence one's decision in any of these cognitive stages. 1. Diffusion of responsibility. Knowing that other bystanders could offer help, therefore we needn't take responsibility for the incident. 2. Audience inhibition, also called fear of social blunders, fearing that they will be considered overreacting or reacting badly if they had helped. 3. Pluralistic ignorance, noticing that no one was intending to help may imply that the incident wasn't severe. 4. Ambiguity of situation, not being sure what the risks will be of offering assistance and whether his or her assistance will be helpful. 5. Conformity, wishing to fit in with a group which the majority wasn't helping. However, the model and factors listed above aren't always accurate. For example, one might not help simply because he or she wasn't in the right mood. Helping might undermine their benefits, or his or her personality wasn't specifically warm-hearted. These can also result in failing to respond actively. To conclude with a quote by Socrates, "Man is by nature a social animal." It is inevitable for us to interact with other people in our lives, let alone being influenced by each other. There are even circumstances that other people's reaction actually impacts your pattern of thinking and behavior. For instance, when being affected by the bystander apathy effect. When bystander apathy effect comes into force, either in emergencies or daily incidents, people will be influenced by other bystanders' reaction to the situation and possibly fail to react helpfully. Many experiments were conducted to analyze this effect. One of those were the bystander apathy experiment, designed and practiced by John Darley and Bib Latane in 1968. implying that the possibility of people offering assistance decreases as the amount of bystanders increases. Last but not least, the two social psychologists later on developed a cognitive model and identified several key factors which might explain our process of decision making and how bystander apathy effect intervene in the final reaction.